You're looking now at what has generally been considered the front of the encampment, where they put up that big barrier of plywood boards, metal fences, and that seemed to be the last point the police were trying to get into. But now they have made a move in the sort of right-hand corner of that. You can see them sort of towards the top of your screen there. Now, some of those protesters seem to be putting their hands up and walking out. They'll be taken to the, at least I would say, 8 or so buses that have lined up just off campus there, ready to take away those hundreds who will ultimately have to be arrested here. So some of them are giving up. Some, though, are clearly not willing to do so quite so easily. They are among the ones who are shining those strobe lights into the eyes of the police officers as they stand ready to move in there. As William was saying, we don't know for sure what kind of weaponry some of those protesters have. We know that there are baseball bats in there. We know that they are armed with pepper spray and mace. One of them, as you mentioned, Steve, thank you for remembering, sprayed my wife the other day, a reporter with our local affiliate KTTV. So we know they have those things. We don't know how many of them are prepared to use them when faced with the kind of force that these members of the California Highway Patrol are about to bring, and they're probing the sides again now. Yes, sorry, Brian.
Can we just think about this? What is the goal here? Is the goal to make massive arrests, or is the goal to take apart this encampment? And do you get arrested only if you resist? If you are just there and refuse to leave, are you going to be put on those prison buses? So the goal they just want to take apart this encampment and then deal with whoever wants to push back?
They want to take apart the encampment, and they will take. They have declared this, remember, an unlawful assembly. They have issued a dispersal order. So anybody not adhering to that dispersal order has been subject to being detained for the last 9 hours or so since that dispersal order was issued. So pretty much every one of those people there that are there are going to be put on those buses. Yeah, and you see them throwing items now towards the officers who are not going to be bothered by those kind of items being thrown at them as they move in now very distinctly to begin trying to dismantle that. Right. But as William was rightly saying, they have had a week now to build up this barrier, and they have done so very Jonathan, effectively.
And to that point, the cops are starting to take it apart right now. With the bike racks, they're taking off the zip ties and anything that are keeping the bike racks together. But the main fortification are those hundreds of pieces of plywood. How the hell did those get there? Did Home Depot make a couple of truckload stops over at UCLA right in the middle of the quad?
Yeah, they've been bringing them in over the week or so since they set up this encampment.
Why would they let them do that?
Well, there was no law enforcement to stop them, and the UCLA administration didn't try to stop anybody doing anything. They allowed this encampment to be set up, did not declare it unlawful until about 24 hours ago.
Yeah, and Jonathan, after a riot broke out on the UCLA campus, they allowed the encampment to stay, and then they announced that police were going to come in. So, people came out of the woodwork. They knew that this was going to happen. They had the 1,000 people, as William was reporting, to support the people inside the encampment. They brought in the plywood. They brought in the nail guns. They brought in the gas masks, all in preparation, making this law enforcement work even more difficult to take down this encampment.
Yeah, and this has been set up since last Thursday, so a week now, and a week in which they could fortify everything. They could decide how they needed to make it as difficult as possible for law enforcement. UCLA did not ask law enforcement to come on to the scene until
they're now trying to push and get in.
Yeah, they're pushing pretty effectively now. I mean, that barrier won't last that long as they move in here.
What they're trying to do right now is get eyes in. They can't go in until they know what they're working with. So they're trying to dismantle all of these bike racks that is connected to this plywood.
It's a structure. William Lajeunesse is on the scene. William, things have gotten a little crazier in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they definitely are. It looks like I see an arrest right in front of me. but here the police are now trying to remove the plywood. I can tell you some of those barriers are a pallet, and then they have 3/4-inch plywood attached to both sides. But yeah, definitely police are now trying to make their entry at this point here. The crowd you can see over on the opposite side, they're trying to get in as well, and they've got a police line trying to hold them back.
Hey, William, you know what I'm wondering?
Okay, they're now pulling out some of the pallets.
Right. I'm wondering, is there a risk for the cops being surrounded? I worry about their back end. I'm sure they drill this all the time. But if they're outnumbered, even though they got the equipment, could they be surrounded right now?
Well, technically, we are surrounded, right? So we're surrounded by buildings, and the buildings have alleyways, and each one of those alleyways is clogged with sympathizers, other students. So technically, we are. But like I said, on the backside of where I am right now, there's another police line to make sure, if you will, that that crowd, which now looks in several hundred, maybe 500 people, they got to keep them at bay. Okay, looks like we have a special entry team coming on my backside right now. They're very heavily armed. Officers trying to make an entry point here, and they're backed up by 2 LAPD lines. They've got their tear gas ready, and their clubs and their face masks are down. So
William,
they're going to make an entry point there, and it's really go ahead.
Well, there was a plan in place, and the plan was released by law enforcement sources because there are different law enforcement agencies all working together to get this whole thing sorted out. Los Angeles Police Department will secure the perimeter. California Highway Patrol will enter the encampment, and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department will be responsible for crowd control. So the protesters have had time to fortify, to get the gas masks, to get those flashing lights to blind the police officers. Police also have a plan in place as well.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sure they do, but things have been changing, pretty dramatically in terms of they've got to look at what's happening on the ground and where the soft point is. Now they're going in literally and through the front door.
Yeah. Well, it looks like every time the police takes down a barrier, there's another one, and they're finally making their way in right now.
And it looks like there are either hundreds inside the encampment, William, or else they have just come up to get in the grill of the cops.
Okay, they're bringing out their riot batons right now.
Okay. And they're throwing stuff at the police
you can see the people, the crowd on the side trying to blind them with those lights. But the line of individuals, the officers right in front of me, the CHP and the LAPD, they've now brought out their riot batons, and they're putting their masks down, and it looks like they're ready to back up the people at the point of the spear.
And you hear them chanting, "Hold the line, hold the line."
Okay, here they go. They're making a movement right now.
And we're going to find out probably shortly that these are not mostly students. These are people who are activists.
What was that noise, William?
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.